we'll have the roll call.
Travis Gamble.
Here.
Bill Cooper.
Here.
Richard Gibson.
Here.
Ira Hawkins.
Here.
Okay, approval of agenda as presented. We haven't changed the bill or Travis, anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented to us.
Second, all in favor? 3-0. Approval of minutes, first month, 27th day, 2014, and second month,
15, sorry.
14.
It should be the 15, 2015.
Well, you got down here both.
Yep, that's what she's saying. It should be 50.
Never mind.
Oh, it should just be 15. Second, third, I'm sorry. Okay, second, third, 15. Approve the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of 1/27/2015 and 2000, or February the 3rd of 2015 is mailed to us. Yeah.
Second, oh, all in favor? 3-0. Okay, we got our guest tonight, Chastity Dawkins with East Newton FFA project in Dismick Park. Dick Smith, I'm sorry.
The East Newton FFA would like to do a project as a community service project during the FFA week. We would like to donate trees and plant them in the park, and also donate a bench to be put out in the park, if that's okay.
Pretty good offer there.
How many trees is it?
Probably about 5 or 6,
Okay.
just depending
Yeah.
on what would
Yeah.
work. We've got dogwoods and
Yeah.
some redbuds and other trees like
Yeah,
that.
so you'd want somebody from the city probably to be with you when you plant them. So if there was something gonna be there, or maybe there's a line underneath that, you would want that help, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise,
do
you
want
guys
us-
are gonna plant them.
Yeah, should we like have them mark out the places if there was to be, we could call MoDOT or
We
Yeah,
call
whatever.
Missouri
Jim?
One call.
Yeah, so you want
Did
us
you
to
hear
mark
that, Jim? Yeah, okay, you and his boy, they've got markers to find out if there's any lines under them. I'm sure Jim probably knows anyway,
Okay,
so.
and we'd be looking at doing that like around the 25th. Would that be
About what?
Of
of
February.
this month?
Oh, this month, yeah. Well, yeah, I imagine you can, if we prove everything, Jim will know about it. Get his boy, one of his boys down there himself, huh? Yeah. You guys understand?
I make a motion to allow Chastity Dawkins with the East Newton FFA group to plant the trees and donate the bench for Dick Smith Park.
Got a second? Got a second, all in favor?
All right.
Appreciate you
Thank
doing
you.
that,
Thanks,
Earl.
Chad.
That's nice of you.
Be a nice guy.
Okay, Harry, you wanna come up?
Yep, thank you.
This is a reference to the last meeting.
I think he's great.
We're gonna hold a conversation tonight, things like this, about 5 minutes.
More or less.
And
First
Harry-
thing-
Yeah, whatever.
Good evening, folks.
Good
The first thing is, I want Mr. Lynn
Yeah.
to turn his camera off. He's been photographing me since he came in.
Okay.
With my objection.
Martin, turn off your.
I refuse. If you wish to go ahead and enforce such a thing, why, there'll be a lawsuit.
Oh, gee.
Well,
Well, Peppers, this is a public
let's go
meeting,
ahead and talk.
therefore,
We'll have to
therefore,
do something about him. It's gonna come to that.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I appreciate you.
I was going to come in originally and apologize because it was quota minister. And I used a rather crude term at the end of my retirement. However, I didn't think doo-doo poo-poo that really had much of an impact, so what I said, so stay with it.
I thought
On the
you done
blogs,
fine.
I found out that he is no longer with, they kicked him out of the Aryan Nation, and his ministerial duties have been, he's been deferred.
Yeah.
So he's not on that. So that was the part of the minister thing. So I do not apologize for that. And the rest of the law. As a matter of fact, they should have an ordinance about people filming. And I think the city clerk and the mayor should determine who is filming and why. For that neo-Nazi propaganda, I don't want to ever be seen on his side.
Yeah, I don't blame you, Harry, and I don't know exactly what to do about it
Yeah.
tonight.
Well-
We will look into it.
And I would appreciate an ordinance
Yeah.
because we have to stop this.
Yes, Harry,
Thank you.
I appreciate you, buddy. Okay,
See how it's done.
we got somebody else here tonight, and we've got a 5-minute limit on compensation. And this is Martin Lindstead, and it's on referendum for TIF and community development.
Okay, first thing in reference to that, you idiots just are determined to have a lawsuit?
Hey,
No.
No.
I have a right to
Hey,
respond.
come here, Jake.
I have a right to respond.
You're not responding to
Respond to
nothing
the
tonight.
council.
I respond to what was said about me.
You was gonna say this or you're out.
Well, I didn't know about this sort of thing. I mean, essentially, what this idiot is saying is that it's not even the half of it
Let
here.
me see your colleague.
You called me an idiot, what if I wanna respond?
Respond all you want. I'll go ahead, am I being threatened with arrest if I don't go into this here? Well, I don't really want to do that, but essentially, if you guys want a lawsuit, you'll
Hey,
get,
I wanna tell you something too, buddy.
uh-huh,
You get on to what you said on this topic.
Or what?
And if you
Or
don't,
what?
You're out.
okay, he already said he was gonna kick me out.
I said I'm gonna arrest you.
Okay, well, then, then how we gonna do it? Anyway, I went ahead, we'll go on to this here, but essentially, it seems to me that I got a lawsuit now here. So, in any case, you don't have any right to do any such sort of thing. But anyway, getting on to this, referendum question here.
Yeah.
I went ahead and wrote a letter to the editor. Essentially, I said the three things that are pretty well destroying Granby building. Number 2 is pigeons. Number 3 were, you idiots. Number 1 was the fact that stupid inbreds allow pigeons and idiots like you to go ahead and destroy the building here. I was annoyed at your idiocy last week, but I've come to the conclusion that, hey, if you go ahead and waste all this TIF money here, it can't be used for, it can't be sent to the, Wicker Factory or the East Newton School Board. Go ahead and waste the money. Go ahead and destroy your buildings. Go ahead and destroy your heritage. What difference does it make? In any case here, the money will be gone. From what I gather, if there's a state audit, some of you will probably be in jail. This city will be gone in 2 weeks or 2 months. What difference does it make? So essentially, I'm just simply going to propose, if you guys want to actually let the people of Granby decide what to do with their heritage, let's say propose referendum question. What to do with it here? What shall be done with the current $150,000 of TIF district funds on hand, the remaining $400,000 from the remaining years of the TIF district? Number 1, the funds should be earmarked for the maintenance of the current Granby community building and annex and possible improvements as necessary. Number 2, spending of these funds should be left to the discretion of the current TIF board of directors. And number 3, right at the end, your suggestions below opinion. I'm simply proposing that the voters of Granby decide what should be done with their buildings. Tell them that you should do anything with it. You don't even have to pick it up. I talked to Kay Baum. She's not going to put it on the regular ballot, but she can put it as an addendum.
We got one more minute, Malcolm.
Okay.
Get it.
In any case, probably, probably this TIF funds won't be there. You guys will probably end up having to pay higher taxes as a result of a bogus lawsuit where you're violating, my First Amendment rights to free speech. What someone says on the internet. Oh, by the way, I do got a webpage. I got lots of blogs. And anybody I want to go after here, as long as I'm saying what is believed to be true, you don't have any defense here. At all. At all.
Okay, Martin, your 5 minutes is up. We'll have to get on
Time
to something
is
else.
up!
Okay, folks, sorry about that. Old business. Discussion of natural gas Somebody
you
like
guys,
that. Is that something like the last week or something?
I don't think that we really need to raise them right now. We've got the gas prices low, purchasing it low enough that we're all okay. I haven't gotten everything for January, but through December, the way I'm seeing it, it's like $8.52 is what we should charge, and we're charging $8.50. I mean,
I thought it was too, Paula, but we was you giving a chance to everybody to decide on, like the payments we're making, we're making the big
that's what I've
payment.
got. I've got all that figured
Yeah.
into all this.
We're froze in good, I know that.
You know, the problem, we don't have a problem when we're buying gas right,
Not now.
because it'll always usually end up pretty decent, and the city can usually end up with a surplus of dollars. The problem we run into is if we happen, for whatever reason, to buy the gas, buy it wrong, or don't buy enough.
Yeah.
And I think we need to leave in place something that would protect the city in case of just an abnormal buy, and in other words, I think we should end up somewhere as a part of city ordinance or policy, a certain percentage over the cost of gas to do business.
We had that, we had it last winter,
Well,
right?
and I think we could probably help ourselves if we just basically was just diligent on that. As long as we, as a town, can look in somewhat into the future and buy gas right as a commodity, then I think we're gonna be okay as far as the price to the customer. But we need, I think we don't need to ignore the possibilities of having a gas cost plus percentage as part of policy. What do you guys think?
I think we should probably set up and do it as procedure with, and like I say, the more eyes you get on things, the more opinions you get on things, the better off you are. Set up a procedure where there's more people involved, kind of look at the overall picture for the last few years and all that stuff. Obviously, you can't see into the future, but to when we lock in the most percentage we can.
Best price.
Yeah, and like we spoke at the budget meeting, as a council, we need to the best of our ability, be able to guarantee the customers what they're gonna be paying.
And then I think there's a point, don't you, Bill, that where that kind of the 2% that you had suggested will come into play and then become maybe a part of what we do to keep
Well,
up with the
obviously,
time.
everything else does go up, and it's just gonna have to be a lot of diligence put to this and do it, address it yearly, and keep an eye on the commodities price, and not just put the burden of the responsibility on one person or two persons, but get more proactive in it. And like I say, so we can guarantee the customers what they're gonna be paying, and not in the middle of February say, oh, we got behind the 8 ball here and it's gonna cost you another.
But right now, we don't have to do anything,
Well, we hope not,
at least at this.
yeah, but I think
You're an
we
idiot.
really do need to come up with a plan, put it in action, and really keep it on the.
Put him back there on his stand and make sure he stays there with you. Back over there where you started with it, but you aren't gonna walk all over the house, sorry, sir. Folks. Let's do this right, you can do it. Put it on your stand there and sit down. You're bothering people.
Who cares?
I do, so.
Well, I don't care.
Me.
Just get over it, we got a lot of things to do in
Well,
Granby.
then do it. Shut up and do it. I've already had my 5 minutes. Maybe you ought to just have 5 minutes.
I think you didn't have your, get him out of here. Take him out, I don't know how you have to do it. Get his equipment,
I'm
and
gonna
get
be
him out of
arrested
here.
if I don't leave. Okay, well, legally, can you arrest me for this?
Yes, you're disturbing my public meeting. Is that right?
Okay, I disagree with that, but under threat, and regarding further litigation, I shall leave right now, okay?
Okay, we're going,
got a
Well,
great idea.
Is there a number, Paula, that, I guess I keep beating this around, I'm juggling it. Is there like a 30% or a 40% capacity?
It's 30% in the covenants of the certificates of participation. It's 125%, which is 25%. So that's what I've been looking at.
Okay. We'll look at this.
And I've
Address
got
this again.
every month that we can just kind of talk about. How would that be?
Yeah, that'd be, we just don't wanna end up having to buy with a higher price
Right,
and
right,
get upside down.
right.
I got a curious question.
Too bad we
Do you only charge the customer what you pay for it? Or what I'm wondering is, what do you use to maintain gases?
That's what we're saying, 30% markup.
Okay, so it's a 30% markup?
Right.
And you use that for maintenance on your
And
system?
then we have to pay our certificates of participation bonds, is what normally everybody calls them.
Now, in that 30% is transportation included in there too?
The cost is the cost
Transportation's in
of the
there.
gas and the cost of the transportation times 30%.
In theory, it's so that if it's set up correctly, the way I understand it, the way I would look at it, is if you run into another problem like we had last winter, to where hypothetically you didn't lock in enough, because I think at one point we were selling it for $1 less than we were giving for it at one point. Am I close?
Because you run out of your allotment, you had,
You lock in so much percent of your yearly use, if I'm kind of on the rail here. Anyway, if you've got a surplus of money, that way it doesn't come back to the customer and the city doesn't end up behind the 8 ball like we did. You know, and obviously if you have a surplus of money, then something comes up, we need to do like repairs and all that stuff, it's easier on bonds and
We
all that
ended
stuff.
up having to pay $8.88 plus 75%, plus 75 cents. There were some cities that got hit in that February that paid $25 a unit. So
well, how does that vary from year to year on your usage? Is it pretty close to the same, or just depends on the
Depends
winter?
on the severity.
Depends on the
Like last winter was so bad, I mean,
Right.
it was cold so much.
That's why I've kind of
can't
called on,
predict.
you can't predict the weather.
we might have snow in June this year or during old money fund days.
But if we do have a surplus where we can cover, then it doesn't put, obviously it put a lot of funds in the red and at risk that money should have been removed from it, and we're still playing catch up.
I'm not all for raising gas prices, but I mean, you gotta maintain
Yeah.
your system too. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessary evil in all of them. I mean, that's why we had to do a sewer increase and a water increase, because it'd been so long since it'd been done. And, you know, it's got more than one moving part, you're gonna have problems with the center layer and you've gotta pay for it. I mean, even the city, in theory, it's not for profit, but you've gotta have the money to keep up to date. Yeah.
That's the reason that I had said in the past, and I can see where I was talking about tonight, on 2% the first of the year. If you know everything's gonna raise 2%, you plan on it.
Cost of living.
You know, and if you don't have anything to figure on, and then something happens, what do? You know, where does this money come from? Then everything's gotta come up. But I can understand where ours comes from too.
In a perfect world, and there are some communities within 50 miles of it, you have enough surplus monies to where you could survive a year without having one dime of income coming in. And, I mean, in instance, say we have an impact tornado, what happens? If you don't have enough money to, because, I mean, you can rely on the federal government all you want, but that don't work out. So, like I said, the ideal plan would be to have enough money to where the town could survive. In my opinion, it needs, you know, it should be that we can survive for 6 months easily. But the way, I mean, it is right now, I'm not so sure we can survive 6 weeks. So, in theory, You know, that's the idea. We don't want to make all the customers pay for it, but in the end, in time of crisis, it'd be nice to know it was there.
Okay, we're ready to go on to our next subject there. Set work session for 2014-15 and 2015-16 budgets. We haven't quite a time getting together on that. We've met twice, but we haven't really got to talk about the real facts of the budget, which
I
is
was
very
trying to give
important.
you guys another picture too.
Thank you.
She gave us some other figures in there and all, we have a better idea to study it and all,
Oh,
go through it.
oh, yeah. I would not-
Did you want to meet on that before the next meeting or after the next meeting?
Do what now?
The budget meeting, do you want to do that?
Special meeting, like,
Regular
you
meeting?
want it before the next meeting or after?
I think myself that we're gonna have another special meeting.
Yes.
Just sit down and then, you know, this time really do it.
Yeah, and she's got some figures here for us to look at.
Yeah, because we got figures now to where we can, and from now till, I guess, again, next Tuesday night.
What do you think? Grab what you got in mind down there, buddy. We're gonna have to do something. This will be our third budget meeting. And, we should be able to, Paul has wrote out quite a few things. And if you got any ideas, write them down. Would that be too soon? Next Tuesday?
Well, the regular meeting is the Tuesday after that.
After that, well, it'd be like we did last week, if you did on Tuesday, that's coming Tuesday. Not that I'm putting it up, I kinda like that 6 o'clock deal myself.
You like it better than being earlier than that?
Well, even earlier, I didn't know about you, I actually was thinking about you and Travis, he works in Joplin.
Travis, you go on
It's
early.
what,
Nine
5:30?
Yeah,
You
but-
get here.
Yeah.
You want it any earlier now, we'll do it.
Wherever you go from.
I guess you guys will be putting it up.
5:30 is better for me.
5:30 is better for him, what do you think? Bill, or one of you guys wanna make a motion?
I make a motion to have another special work session for the 2014-15, 2015-16 budget for next Tuesday night at 5:30.
Sounds good.
What's the
Okay.
date?
Got a second on that?
Second.
Okay, we got a second, all in favor? 3-0,
17.
next Tuesday night, 6 o'clock. Budget meeting. Okay, Jim Channing, new computer, what's that about, Jim?
I need a computer for my office up at the barn to do my gas reports and basic reports and general reports. My computer is dead.
We don't have,
Tony got thrown into a bad situation. He's supposed to be here this week. So if Jim needs a new computer, I was looking at Walmart, they're like $300-400 for stand up and a laptop. So, I don't know.
You wanna, maybe we ought to,
Give him a
we need to
tab.
go ahead and get him a computer and
Give him a
and get it
tab.
over with, because you don't know what's gonna happen, you know.
Was there new computers coming into the office?
I didn't hear you.
Is there new computers coming into the office?
Yes.
But they're not here yet, or are they already here?
My towers are here, but there is a DOS program that we have the property tax on that he's trying to get taken care of. And then he had another situation in Joplin that he had to fix, and another client, and he's gonna be here. It's just one of those things where he got sidetracked.
But if Jim needs it now,
Yeah,
get
we-
him $300-400.
you can set them up yourself and everything, you don't just like a regular house computer.
Yeah, Jacob Megan set it up.
You got a laptop with it, Jacob come help you? Yeah. Well, what do you guys wanna do?
I make a motion to allow Jim Chandler $400 to buy a new computer.
Get the guarantee, Jimmy, you know that.
Yeah.
Second.
All those in favor? 3-0. Okay. Purchase 2004 350 dump truck for $16,671. You got it in now, Jim?
Yeah.
Got a dump on it, don't
Uh-huh.
it? Good.
And it come with got a 8.5-foot plow.
Oh, came with it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, we've already approved him to buy it, and he's already got it, so,
That was just FYI.
okay. Okay, RCS invoice for police department repeater, $2,167.92. What do you say, Dave?
Well, you guys got your letter in your information and
Yeah.
what transpired with RCS and why we are going with a different installer.
Yeah, I'll read that. And you had something to cover that. What
Yeah, we found another installer that's actually gonna do it for
we're talking about?
considerable less. Especially since they got in there and found out there's some stuff that really doesn't need replaced that RCS main did.
I was looking at this and just in my opinion, I think we need to, have the city attorney address this, heavy-duty restocking charge and such. It wasn't a part of the contract. Objection to that?
No, nothing was signed either, right?
No, there's never a written signed contract.
That's water under the bridge.
I understand these people probably just aggravated that he gets business, but that, that's happened.
But they didn't get
It's happened to
to
me
it,
all the
didn't
time.
They didn't get to it after the time.
In their
was
own
out.
bill, they're charging us for 114
But I do
days.
think we need to
You know,
address
that's
the
their fault.
Oh, their
this
part.
cost.
Is that what you got
Make a
together
motion
on?
to turn
I make a motion to have this price and the old contract turned over to our attorney for him to look at and make recommendations before it's paid.
Was this something you're paid already? I mean, you had to pay them or something? I'm in the dark here.
This is where I called them and had them to do the service. Well, they never showed up to do the service, and now they want us to pay for the equipment that they ordered but never delivered.
Oh, a rental type deal. I read that. Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
And a 15% restocking fee.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what we're contesting.
Yeah, especially when there was nothing in writing or anything.
Does that look right?
Nothing was signed or
See if we can't get something back on it or not have to pay them.
At least negotiate.
My second.
You get a second already? Excuse me. Okay, all in favor? Okay. Reynolds, thank you.
Thanks, Jim.
Okay, part-time recycling worker. Part-time recycling worker rate. This must be Eck, huh? You ain't here tonight?
You never got.
Wasn't here last time.
I think this should be delayed until we figure out if we can do it.
Travis, can I put that in a motion that you're gonna table it?
Okay, all in favor of delaying this, on Eck, till, whenever?
Yeah, because this should be probably addressed at the time of applying for the grant, don't you think? If you're gonna add some more salary increase. And then I've got citizens on the south side anyhow that are not happy with the way things are going down there anyhow. So we probably ought to just look at the recycling center as a whole, see what can be improved or adjusted.
We need to look at, well, the feasibility of it. I mean, it's hard to, something that is paid for with a grant to match funds with it.
I agree, like Elton was saying, he hadn't had a raise since he started and all, but he hasn't worked full-time there either. He's been on and off. Then, like, he talked to me yesterday that towards the end of his lunch hour, that at times he takes and drives the trash truck, to help out and everything. He says, that's worth something. No, I can understand that too, but that doesn't happen very often, correct?
No.
Yeah, anytime he's taking on some extra responsibility or duties, it can always be looked at. But the top priority is the recycle center and what's needed there, times and adjustments and such.
Do they ever offer to maybe up that grant a little bit so a guy can get a little extra money to live on?
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Paula
you-
usually
I asked
applies
for
for that.
24 and we only got 20 this time.
Oh, you got less money then. Yeah, I thought something happened.
It's,
We're going to delay that, is that right? We got a second on that?
I already got a
Got a
second.
second, all those in favor? We're gonna delay that for now. Okay,
Could I get a vote?
I thought we did, 3-0.
Okay,
3-0.
sorry.
Yep. 3-0. Okay. New business. Missouri DNR letter dated January 28, 2015. We got that. That was on the, I think it was on the first phase of this bill, what we were talking about, 60 days.
Yeah,
You want to explain that or anything?
no.
You don't? Okay, Bill,
They're
I want
giving
to
us-
explain that.
When we went up there to Springfield and met with them and all, all this letter is saying they acknowledged our visit, some of the things that they talked about and all, and they're giving us 60 days from the time that this letter was mailed, and that was January 28th, to take and get back with them, let them know what kind of program we're looking at, just so that they're,
And Victor has already enforced some of it already, little things like adding lime to get the content right to spread it on fields, he's already took care of that. We've talked with Steve Spears tonight, so we've got more of it in play, gonna have. We need to get Victor some help real bad, so he'll have somebody work there with him when he, right then, when he needs.
Do we have an ad in the paper for?
No, I haven't got one yet, so I'll get that done.
Well, we got that one guy, did you wanna say anything about that? His brother has worked here before. And I was wondering, like, and Victor said he might wanna call in a guy when he needs him, and he won't need him the next day, maybe. That would save us money.
Well, he had experience running those TV cameras in the sewer. as far as I know.
yeah, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah, I know, but that's one
I'd
of my
rather,
pet peeves.
as far as help at the plant, hopefully we can find somebody locally. That way it'd be quicker respond time for emergencies. and,
Oh, yeah, yeah. But on that other part,
But on
your
the
brother
other
might
part,
be
yeah,
interested in
just
that.
kind of on a need basis or something, but,
Yeah.
we'll talk about that more. in the future.
Okay, yeah, you guys wanna put an ad in the paper already, or have you?
No, I have not, no,
When he
well,
gets back in.
Yeah. Or anybody that you come up with, don't be afraid to tell us, like you worked with him before, if he's close to Granby or something, you know, that you want, let us know.
absolutely.
Okay, number 2, new business. Police Chief Jacob Kelly requests payment of C&B Body Works invoice in an amount of $639. That was some work on your cars, on your door, your cruiser.
Basically, the door locks on my rear doors and on my driver's side doors completely quit working, and they had to be swapped out. And that's the bill from having to do that.
Well, that wasn't, I thought that, you had a vent door too.
No, that got fixed months ago.
Well, that's,
When I first got the car.
yeah, okay. He wants approval on that, and the locks, you know, and take them doors apart, put them back together, and new parts probably.
Yeah, the new parts were close to $200 a piece.
And Chip done the work, $200 a piece.
Mhm.
Yeah. Had to get it from the dealer, of course. You guys want to pay it, or you want Jacob to pay that out of his pocket?
As it, Chip
Oh.
offered to bill it out over the course of 3 months, but I figured might as well just go ahead and
Not me.
get it paid.
Is there anything left in their fund, or we just take this out of general?
I can take it out of the repair and maintenance fund. There's, I put that in there. Okay. There's $2,146.16 in there.
You was using some of that to buy something for the cars and all
Already
anyway.
did, already did.
Already
Got
did.
it.
So this is still there?
Mhm.
I make a motion to go ahead and pay CB Body Works $639.22 out of the repair fund there.
You have a second on that? You got a second, all those in favor? So, you know, you don't have to pay it out of yours.
I do got one other thing that's not on the agenda that I'd like to talk about while I'm here.
Oh,
Is that all right?
oh, yes, okay.
Basically, you know, we're kind of celebrating with PD. One of our own has found out that she's going to be having a baby later this year.
Lindsay?
Lindsay is pregnant. We've been kind of looking at some policy models on how to handle an officer being pregnant. You know, obviously, a female officer in police work being pregnant is a little different than a female working a secretarial position or some type of non-risky position. One of the problems we're going to run into is she gets further along in her pregnancy, it's going to be more and more dangerous to her and the baby to be responding to 911 calls and things of that nature. I don't want to just cast Lindsay aside and tell her that she's just going to have to bear it and not deal and not have a job until after the baby comes. I don't feel like that's a very good way to take care of our employees. She's been a great employee. She's a great asset to the team. What I'd like to do is, kind of going along with what this policy states, is when she gets into her second trimester, we'll move her into a more of a light duty role, maybe as a detective or some kind of investigator to kind of help me with the administrative stuff during the day and follow up on leads and things. Follow up on some of our older cases that we got kind of backlogged anyway. It'd be a huge help there. And then to cover her shift as far as her regular patrol duties, I want to hire a temporary position to fill that role.
You already got a somebody to take over?
I don't have anybody to take over.
Any
Sorry.
reserves?
My reserves all have full-time jobs. So when we're looking at a 8 to 10 month, or however long period that we're going to need another full-time officer basically to cover that patrol duty she was handling.
We've already, and I'm not sure if everybody's aware, we've already got a shortage, correct?
We do already have a shortage. I have one overnight shift that's not covered as it is every week.
And that's something we probably need to try to address in our budget, because it's kind of leaving our pants down, so to speak, where the county has to cover the town on Tuesday nights.
So how does that work with the county covering?
Basically, they won't come into town, they won't patrol town, they won't do anything as far as our city ordinances or anything. But if they get dispatched to a 911 call, domestic burglary, something like that, they will come and handle the call. Usually, if it's something that can be passed, that they can respond to, and then wait until one of our officers comes on, they'll pass it on. Otherwise, they'll just take care of it then.
They'll do that out of their Neosho office.
Yeah, they do that in the show.
So do they have patrol units that are out patrolling somewhere?
They do, but they're usually tied up. My officers can tell you, when we just call for a county officer to back us up, we're usually looking at a 15 to 20 minute response time. That's when they know we actually need the help. When it's just a call that comes in and maybe 45 minutes to an hour before they get here.
For instance, when the gentleman up here was robbed and everything, across from Caleb's house up here on 60, what was the response time then when county got here?
Oh, I don't remember.
County's not called.
County wasn't called at all
I
until
didn't call for backup. I
that.
didn't need it. There was nobody there.
Yeah, they didn't actually come to the initial call on that one.
But mine was immediate.
Now, this wasn't figured in your budget either, right?
It was not. This was not something that you can really plan for.
I mean,
One thing I think we could lack at in our budget is, I did budget 20, 30,000, I think, in the capital outlay for cars. Well, we ended up doing a different deal with the cars. So that money, we still do have a substantial budgeted amount that we could.
Basically, what you're talking about is an overlap in personnel that would probably cost the city, what, $15,000?
Roughly, for another full-time officer during the position when she's just, it would not be a good idea for her to be responding to calls by herself.
Is there any help from the academy or such, as far as trainees or anything like that?
Well, we can't have non-licensed peace officers acting in a police capacity.
Yeah, they have to be graduates.
Well, this is gonna be a difficult person to find, is what I'm looking at. Do you
I don't think it might be a hard time finding someone that's going to leave another job for a temporary position, but I don't think we'll have a hard time finding someone fresh out of the academy looking for some experience.
Knowing that it would be on a temporary
Knowing
basis.
it would be on a temporary basis.
Just basically gaining a few months' experience.
Yep.
Basically a paid reserve.
For a length of time.
It does, and like I say, when I found out that we didn't have Tuesdays covered, and apparently that's been the norm for some time, probably before you.
Before I got
arrived,
here.
We need to work this in, because there's no reason that we can't somehow or another come up with the money to make this work.
Well, what are you thinking about, Travis, on that? Are you thinking about another full-time officer or a part-time officer? Or?
Well, I think,
Tuesday night's budget meeting.
well, but I think a lot of it's gonna have to be with Jake sitting down and penciling it out, how we can kind of maybe change some schedules around, bring somebody in earlier or later or whatever. And I realize hours and all that stuff it's gonna be a tough call, but I think it's never really been addressed where we said, figure it out and we'll try to make it work. Because, like I say, I don't like the idea, any more than anyone else, where you're looking at, if you need someone here right now, where you're looking at 30, 45 minutes, something, I mean, a lot can happen.
It's probably one of those things that we need to talk about probably, or at least think about over a few days here, several days to, there's probably an opportunity that's outside the box that we could probably figure this out.
And then when Lindsay comes back, we can work it all around and get it where, I mean, we need to keep the town covered.
She may not want to take it.
Oh, that's a damn beauty thing.
She may not want to come back.
I've had my concerns about that myself. I would hate to lose her, which is why I want to do everything to encourage her to come back.
There's no sense beating around the bush.
Yeah, well, I think that we can, somehow or other, we can make this work. So, let's,
Table it till next Tuesday night.
I hate that word table, but let's let's work through this and let's come up with a damn good solution.
We gotta get that road down there. Next Tuesday night, we need to look into the budget and look into our problem and
Are we having
see
another
what we can do.
Tuesday?
It looks like.
The budget
I was
meeting.
outside.
Oh, yeah, closed meeting, not a closed meeting,
Okay.
a special,
Okay.
budget meeting at 5:30 next Tuesday.
I'll get some more stuff.
One week.
We'll figure out something.
Yeah, I'm sure she's protected by law, being a lady, like I told you, that there's things
That's
that,
one thing
whether we want to
consider.
or not, we'll be doing it for the girl because it's legal to get her.
Well, I feel like it's
Used to,
right.
they didn't have no chance, they
It
didn't,
is
they just
right.
went out and went home and, the old man made all the money, but nowadays we got laws, so we'll go by them and make sure that you get what you got coming.
Thanks.
Could I get a vote?
Okay, did we get a vote after a second? All those in favor? 3-0. Talk about it. Next Tuesday. Okay, Fire Chief Kevin Johnson. I think we're ready. Donation form. Okay, Kevin.
Touch base with you there Tuesday night at the budget meeting on that account that the auditors are having such a fit over.
Yeah, we
I
talked.
talked to this CPA over office.
Is that on?
Yeah. And they suggested that we write the city a check and the city turn around and write a check as a donation back to the firemen where we can keep our money and put it in our account.
Yeah.
Get it off the city.
And the way I understood that, I was with, talking, we actually, and Paula knows more about it, that it has to go back into the city. That clears it, gets it away from that tax bill we have, goes into the city, and then we write a check
As a
to your
donation.
special account, whatever you nominate, and we won't have anything to do with your account no more. You can do what you want to do with it.
Can we do that as a nonprofit though?
I'm working on the nonprofit for the fire. So I haven't got it done yet, but I'm working on it.
Would you have a problem because what I was, whenever the auditor was over, that we need to get back on the books to.
Right.
That's the main thing.
Can we get it back on the books and then work towards
Yes.
that to where, then figure out where it's going? from there?
One of the bankers I talked to, he's involved, the big flag that's out by Walmart. That's a non-profit donation type deal. And he said they have no tax number or anything for that. They just have an account, it's non-interest bearing, and that's what it's in right now, is a non-interest bearing account. So, but
I
we
just
can,
want to make sure that next year's audit, they don't come up and say, you guys
I
can't do.
understand that. But, I mean, we can bring a check in tomorrow, and get it back on the books here.
Then when you find
And
your
then
place.
whatever we need to do, you know, like I said, we've already got it in an account that's non-interest bearing.
Yeah.
Because that's what the banker said to do. And, I mean, then we can work it out. But the way I understood Taylor and Green, they needed something before they'll be here
Your
next
final meeting,
meeting.
you're gonna be here on the
Yeah.
24th.
So
Get that.
that way I can give it to Sharon, she can give me a receipt, they can deposit it, and,
Yeah, let's
They
get,
can
I
send
mean,
the
we'll get it all
papers.
worked out and figure out what, I mean,
but
And it'll be ready and set, where you will get your check back
If that's
without
all right.
any other
yeah,
discussion.
like I said, I just want to make sure that we're, like I said, we'll get back on the books. I mean, I'm aware where the money comes from, and I don't have any problem, just as long as we're,
right, I
with all
understand that,
CPAs
that's
and all
fine,
stuff,
that's
we're
fine.
square with it.
So, if you guys are all good with that, and do you need to vote on it, or just do it?
I think we need to vote after it comes into the books.
After it comes back on the
And
book?
then,
Yeah, okay.
don't you think?
Well, I would like to see
But not
somebody.
vote on tonight, vote on when we get it.
Right.
When you get it, and
Please.
Main thing, we gotta make sure that it's all clear
Like
to
I said, let's,
everybody.
yeah, let's cover all our bases,
Yeah.
then we go from there.
then we won't go through this again, it's just been a mess.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, we got approval to advertise for audit bids.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I make a motion to let Paula advertise for audit bids.
For this year, but we still pour it in the 7
That would
months
be
this year.
that would be the 2015, 2016
Yes.
audit.
Actually, it's 3 years here.
Well, we're already into 7 months, so it must be for the 14th.
Well, the next
So it has been in the past,
fiscal
right,
year.
for 3 years.
What they normally do.
July or something.
Ira, what they normally do is, the auditors will do, this is a 1-year contract, or this is a 3-year contract. So 3 years ago, when Taylor Green bid, they had a 1-year bid and a 3-year bid, and the council approved the 3-year bid. So that's why the bid will go in again. You can bid a year at a time, or for the whole thing, whatever.
So Taylor and Green basically have been doing our audit for 4 years.
3 years, this
3
is the
years.
3rd year.
Before them, it was the,
CPA group,
did
out
it
of
for
Monroe.
how long?
They did it for 3
3
years.
years also. Well, an audit should be out for bid. I don't have a problem with that. But now, the thing we need to look at, when they make this bid, are they gonna bid like the others did with a certain amount of time frame involved?
And ask for time and dollars.
Because as I was talking with the CPA group, they had talked about losing a lot of money on the bid because of the extra time. And so somebody needs to understand what time could be involved.
Okay.
And how do you know those numbers? If you're guessing at a certain perimeter and it's just not there, and you got to expand past that, you're going to run into some more overages. And the overages, I think, is where we have the problems. The CPA, basically what they told me was there was overages that they ate, and they couldn't do that, and they understood Taylor and Green's charging for the overages, you just gotta, your business make money. So somewhere this has gotta be communicated in the bid, what they're bidding for. I think the CPA group would probably bid again, but they would have certain perimeter guidelines. I don't know what that's, I don't know how you communicate that.
You gotta be away, or.
Yeah, they basically, what they told me was they couldn't do what they did the last 3 years.
That
So
last
I'm
year's
not
question.
gonna present it until next.
Yeah, you
month.
tried to talk to them about that, and they didn't seem to have an answer, did they?
No.
Okay, what are we
You
gonna do
don't,
about that?
we don't want to say anything about tonight.
They're gonna charge us another $4,000, Taylor Green is.
Yeah, did you know that, Laura?
Well, it's-
We paid them $4,000 last meeting.
At some point, I mean, my talking with CPA group and on that too, and I'm not wanting to turn this into a real lively discussion, but we keep getting the same, when I talk to them, I actually talk to the gal that assisted in the audit, and with Taylor Green, speaking with them. I don't feel like I'm making any progress. I mean, it's kind of like you go to the doctor and they say, take this medicine 3 times a day, and you take it once and you go back in 6 months and say, I'm still sick. And unless you follow instructions, you're never going to achieve the number that, an estimate is just that, an estimate. And if we're not working towards making these improvements, I don't think that anyone's going to hit that number. I mean, it's their job to,
But this gotta be better than a
So
crapshoot.
we're not, you know.
It's gotta be better than a crapshoot because
Pardon?
I'm not gonna, are we gonna advertise?
Yeah, I mean, well,
It's
Diane
died.
didn't.
Well, you wanna go ahead and make it again, we need.
Yeah, but here's something that keeps bothering me. If they keep charging us because they're saying it's the same thing, it's being done over and over and over, and that's duplications. Paula, who set up QuickBooks? Did they set it up?
Brad Taylor did.
okay,
So now if they set it up and they see that this
Originally.
problem is continuing, there's got to be something somewhere that something can be done, or somebody can take and sit down with what the amount of money that we're paying them
I asked,
and pardon?
when I went, I'd taken a whole bunch of stuff over there, they said they would get back with me about the payroll. No one called me. I didn't know I was the one that was supposed to call them back. That's not what I understood in the conversation. When they were here for the audit, Nancy showed me the accounts payable part of the program, and she said, I'll get back with you. I told Kayla, I said, they're gonna show us how to use this. I didn't make the phone call. I didn't know I was supposed to. So, communication, I guess, was wrong.
well, let me add this though. I think your question, her question too, should have been presented when Mr. Taylor was standing.
If I didn't know he was gonna take and hit us with another $3,000 or $4,000,
Hell, they
I
did
damn
last-
sure would've.
They did.
And
last
that's
year.
what I wanna find out when he comes over here
Well, I think
and
they
brings
will.
the audit, before we take and pay him another penny.
Well,
You know, this is getting,
my,
if he's doing, is he not doing diamonds also?
No,
well,
Kelly,
here's the
Kelly
deal.
does their book.
Here's the
Kelly
deal.
does all their books.
The advice is given.
Taylor's doing
I mean,
the
we
audit.
can't expect him to come over, I mean, if we wanna hire a CPA to do our books, then that's what we need to do. But, I mean, it's just kinda like you call and ask me for advice, and there's problems, and I give it, I tell you what you need. I understand QuickBooks enough to know that if you set it up, that's fine, but there's no myth to computers, they're only as good as what's put in them. If they're not put in, I went over, had a talk with him, he showed me, the entries are wrong. They're not put in, QuickBooks is designed for entries to be put in one way and to work out that way. If the line items aren't right, they're strung around and all that stuff, I don't care if you're Oral Roberts, you're not gonna be able to figure it out.
Why would you continually
Well, when you make recommendations,
keep sitting here collecting money, sending out a bill? You know, if you really want my business, then you take and sit down and show me what's going on.
Well, what do you want him to do, come in and say your city clerk's not doing her job?
What, I want this deal taken care of one way or the other, whether we ever have them again or not. My last year on this council, no. As far as I'm concerned and all, they're history.
Well, he come in and laid it out, pretty much, he laid it all at the city clerk's feet. And said, the recommendations aren't being followed. The CPA group of Monette told me the same damn thing.
But they didn't, well, that didn't charge you no $3,000 or $4,000 extra either.
Well, they did say, Bill, that they should have.
Yeah,
They said they lost money on it.
they chose to lose money. So, I mean, you know,
I'm just saying, I'm not for paying them any more money until they take and sit down and show us, Paula, Kayla, whoever, what needs to be done. Otherwise, we're just gonna keep just feeding the kitty, and that kitty's gonna get fatter than I am. Well, I'm fat enough.
I think the first year, if I understand this, and Paula, you can correct me if I'm wrong. They said that they, ate about $14,000, am I right? The first year.
I think so.
The second year, they said they couldn't do that again. After that, they put the recommendations out, this is what we need to do. Okay, then we went through that year and they decided that we should absorb part of that ourselves. And so I was on the council then, and we okayed to pay them $8,000, which was, I think, about half of what the overages were. This year, the 4,000, that's $7,000 if you combine the two. Is that a complete billing? Is that it? So you're at $7,000 right now, and 3 years worth of advice on how to bring this down to a zero overage. And that's the part that kind of, I guess, troubles me. I had a hard time with the $8,000 overage, and I considered many things, kind of like Bill did, that could be wrong. But as I look at it, and as I visit with the CPA group, there are problems that I guess we're just not getting done right. And I don't know how to fix that.
How much was the audit to begin with for this year?
15,
How much have we paid them so far?
18.
then we got a bill for 4 more.
Can't count.
And I don't, the thing about, and Bill, you know, we need to put this out for bid, obviously, anything we do like this. But I don't know who else could, and I think most of the office did, and I was talking to, I think it was Kayla, or maybe I was talking to Kayla and Paula. They were really happy with the CPA group and how they performed here, but they still had troubles with the way there was basically some non-compliance in the way things are set up.
Well, shouldn't you turn the non-compliance problems over to your attorney? I mean, if that's an ongoing deal, I think your attorney would be the one to settle.
Well, you're talking about with them?
No,
or
with our problems.
Well, if our problems, it lies within personnel, then it's up to this council to fix that and make adjustments and then move forward. If it's not, then we need to make adjustments in another direction.
Well, it sounds like the CPA people are telling you guys you have a problem,
They're
but
trying
nothing's getting
to.
done.
Yeah.
And just like there the other night when he suggested that we hire somebody else too to help. Well, is that gonna go on top of this $3,000, $4,000 deals all the time too?
Well, it would. It would.
Well,
And if you're gonna hire,
That's another situation.
if you're gonna hire a CPA to come in and help, you just go ahead and hire a CPA group to come in and take care of your books. However many days a week, and then just have an assistant or somebody that can help with the data entry. I don't know if that's the way to go, but my point here is, as a representative of the town, the overages, somebody's got to plug that hole.
How much between the first group and the group now, I mean, what, Taylor and Green? or
Taylor and
whoever?
Green and CPA.
Yeah,
group.
okay, how much together? How much has been spent over what should have been spent? How much together?
Well, with the CPA group, there was no charges over, if I understand this right. But with the Taylor group, what we have paid last year was about $8,000 overage, and this year could be 7 or 8 or more.
So we're basically losing money.
Well, yes.
So we're losing money here, right? So our problem's right here.
Well, this is where we would need to fix it on the accounting end. According to ordinance, or the city clerk is responsible for the books. That's their responsibility. And so I guess it would be their responsibility in essence to make sure that the necessary helps were in place to make sure there was no overage, if I'm saying this clearly.
So this has been going on for what, 2-3 years?
Well, I guess it's
4
been going
years?
on past that. It's been deeper than that. But there's been a lot of the councils and a lot of the administrations that kind of did things their own way. As I look back into the paperwork and just try to piece this together, and they've had trouble for quite a long time. This isn't a brand new thing. It's just somewhat brand new to me as a council person.
Could I ask a question? Have we actually approved to advertise for audit bids? We did.
Yeah.
I made a motion, but it died for a second, so I'll go back to the motion again.
Would you
Go
make
ahead,
it
Joe.
again, and that way,
Make a
we
motion
get somebody in here, they can
to
tell us what's going on.
advertise
A new one.
for our
Yeah, they can.
audit bids.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor? Real.
So when you get an agreement with an auditor, do you not set an amount you're gonna pay them?
That's a good question.
Why do you have to pay them more if you have a written guarantee?
That's what
I'm gonna
I'm
pay
arguing.
you this, why are
Well,
we
they run
paying them
into
more?
other stuff, or somebody calls them maybe from our council or something, and goes to telling them things we need to check on, and they run that in there, and I don't know who's supposed to stop that. We're supposed to have the consensus of the council.
They don't charge for that, sir.
Well, yeah, but if it's something extra and it goes on, we're paying for it.
They don't charge for that, sir. I know that for a fact.
Well, we're
What it
paying.
amounts to is it's considered an estimate, and what the,
Okay, I don't.
three years ago, Taylor Green spent over 400 hours.
Yeah, well,
Last
Ron
year-
had a good, you had a good
And
question.
I'm answering it. Last year, it was over 400 hours. The CPA group, as well as Taylor Green, said it should take about 150 to 175 hours for a town this size. They said it should be very simple if everything is complied with.
Well, where's our problems at? Why are they having to spend so
We
many
need to see
extra
other
hours?
auditors, like you say, Ron. We need to see other auditors and let them sit down with what Green asked us to do to change it. Show that to the other auditor.
Well, another auditor's not gonna be able to make the changes. We're gonna have to
Not
make the
today,
changes.
no, but next time they audit, when they get an agreement, like Ron said.
But we can't.
How much is it?
We can't push the responsibility of the Board of Aldermen and Mayor off on a CPA firm. If things are not being done, if recommendations are being made, like I say, my comparison, you can't go to the doctor and then tell you what to do and then start doctoring yourself and then bitch about the cure. You can't.
Well,
You have to cut and dry.
we're advertising for audit, so let's get on with it. Financial statement for January 2015.
That's the expenditures that we've had since July through January. And then the budget. It looks like this.
How old is the law officer?
It was on your desk.
Profits and losses?
There was one just for the month of January, and then I had with the budget. That's what we brought in, and that's what we expended. It was laying on your desk.
Yeah, that's what.
Fire.
Okay. Let me see, I think, I keep seeing like a different one, city, okay, and it was sent.
That's a big deal.
Oh, it is?
I guess this reflects the raises too, on some of the laws.
Yes. The budget, yes.
Well, what are you talking about, where it's like these that I got today, the street fund, actual expenses versus budget? What is
That's
the,
what we actually spent through January 2015, and then
what is the contract labor though on the street department and the water?
I think that's
Is that Clyde?
His usually something.
no, because some of his was driving, bringing the rock. You see what I'm saying? So that might be, that's probably the driving of Clyde. I can give you more detail on this.
Yeah, because his really should fall under our materials and stuff.
They charge you $75 a haul. And so then when I do that, it has to go on 1099. The wrong one. Get this thing there?
Yeah.
Rick, you gonna make it there?
Do you want another minute?
I just wanna go home.
Is there something I need to change on this, guys?
How do we come up with $1? The gas fund, miscellaneous income, who kicked in the dollar?
Do what?
The miscellaneous income on the gas fund, who kicked in the dollar? I still don't know.
I know, you want miscellaneous income to be
Well, I just
spread out
can't,
in each line item.
well, I just don't see how we can come up with miscellaneous income. Unless we're having pie sales or something like that.
Fax. The faxes that comes on her, we charge people $1 for faxes. When they come in here. It goes into miscellaneous income on the gas fund. Do you want me to put a normal line item for faxes and copies?
Well, I think we need to.
For a quarter a piece and $1 a piece?
I think it's tracking down money.
Okay,
I mean, I just think there's a lot of
I can do that.
things we're taking for granted that are costing us at the auditors.
Isn't that changing the books around that you want to get in a certain order that she's doing it in, and now you want to change it again?
I want to change it the way the auditor said it needs to be changed.
We don't know. She said no, the auditors have never come in and told her how to set it up.
Hey, David.
Yes, they have. Okay, I've talked to them. So, you take that out of it, okay?
So you want a
I
line
wish you
item?
would be
You want a, Travis?
recognized,
Travis?
okay?
You want a line item for copies and faxes?
I just think this is more stuff we need to get with the auditors and see just exactly how they want this set up. So at the end of all this stuff, we hit print, and there it is. I just think that we're sitting here bitching and complaining about what it's costing us. We're not listening to what we're being told. Because I don't think every other city our size, I mean, we could have paid for a year's audit on what it cost us in 2 years. And we can't keep thinking for ourselves. We need to listen to advice we're told. If we don't know, we can't be too big to ask. And I'm all for training and I'm all for all that stuff if we adhere to it. But if we're not, and we're already sure we're right, then we ought to have paid $15,000–$16,000 for an audit, and it ought to be done. One thing that keeps coming up is that, well, we don't get the damn thing back till April. Well, when you gotta chase a paper trail around, yeah, it's just a never-ending saga. I mean, we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing. It's very clear to me, very clear. And if we're too stubborn to sit here and listen and take it in, and we want to keep covering our own tail end on this, then it's never going to get any better. And I'm getting damn tired of taking money we could be doing for something else and blowing it. And then to jump up and blame us and blame everybody else, it's not right. If everybody had all these so firm, brave questions, the man stood right there 2 weeks ago. Nobody had a damn thing to say.
Who you bringing back and what's this fat boy asking then?
Travis?
He'll be back next week, and I expect everybody to be just as damn vocal as they are tonight.
Don't you worry about this old boy right here.
Well, I'm tired of everybody being real brave behind everybody's
I say,
back.
Ron, will he be back in 2 weeks?
Who's that?
Yes,
Who's that, the audit?
yes.
I think he's on the docket next time, let's go on with this show tonight, and we'll find out things, I think, a lot easier than
Well, if we
managing
listen
in
to
our
him.
mind, talking about it, we won't get it done that way. It's gotta be with the professionals, like Travis says on that part. Okay, we got a financial statement, January 2015, that we've been looking through. You guys want to make the point on that tonight, or financial statement for January 2015?
Does this show, Paul, the wastewater increases?
Well, it only happened 1 month,
Okay.
and it's not even the whole month yet.
So it won't be.
If you're talking about utility sales,
Yeah.
because we billed on the 25th of January, and we're still getting those bills. We're not gonna really see anything for probably a good 3 to 6 months, right, Victor? I mean, when it comes into big money,
Oh, as far
I mean,
as saving,
right. That, we were kinda talking about
because
that.
you'll be blasting through it, possibly.
Right.
There's quite a few issues.
Well, again, do we want to approve this tonight?
Yes,
Well,
if
we've
you
already
can.
spent the money.
You've already spent the money, so get it done.
You don't have a choice, this one sitting here trying to.
I mean, you can send,
I make a motion to go ahead and approve the financial statement for January 2015. motion.
Oh, second. Got a second, Arlen?
Second?
All in favor? 3-0. Okay, we got the last one here, I think. Bill, was you ready to go home?
No, I'm enjoying this.
I'm enjoying it, okay. Well, it says your name right here, Bill. Oh, bills to pay. Oh, bills to pay. You don't look, Richard. Balance on hand, collectors, wastewater, police, and court reports.
Travis, on the collector's report, is it broke down on there where faxes and copies and everything are all on there?
Let me find it, and I'll tell you all about it.
I know it used to be.
Yeah.
Fax, $1, copy, 25 cents. That's where the miscellaneous dollar came in. Should be in your packet.
Hey, Victor, Victor,
Let me see your copy.
did you have a,
Somebody,
you had
Bill's
a,
still mine.
yes, for the 470,
On gas fund, you'll see fax,
Yeah, I do.
$1. Then on general, you'll see copies, 25 cents.
But it put it better than
yeah.
Which one are you talking about, guys?
The US Bank Blue Book supplies and repair parts.
I went under water, it should be sewer. It should be. It probably got charged to sewer. It just got hit in the wrong column. It's that human factor.
Okay, so USA Blue Book needs to go to,
Sewer,
Sewer
the
instead of
next
water.
column.
okay.
Did you need anything this time? Okay. We'll charge you for $1.
So she said. Copies, order copies of. As many as this?
Sharon's pretty talented. It costs like $5 at the bank though.
Yeah, 3 or 4 sheets, something ridiculous. Unless you.
Victor, what, the city of Neosho taking the sludge and stuff?
No,
right now?
what we did was we went ahead and was able to lime treat it with that lime that we purchased and we used our surge basin out there as a big basin to mix that lime in there and bring up the pH, and we've been able to that just allowed us, it made us be able to pass that vector attraction test, so we can land the pipe by that method. It's a lot cheaper than hauling it like that, so.
Hey, Kevin, brush 3 online yet?
It will be tomorrow. I got sick last week, didn't get everything put in it.
The motor installation, stuff like that on the yellow engine, what's going
We're
on
trying
with
to
that?
find a carburetor for it. That thing is so outdated and wore out, and it's got a special deal on the side to mount the governor.
So you're doing a frantic search.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else on this.
You don't? Okay, you wanna make some kind of motion on the papers?
Now we've done down there, you guys done with
Yeah.
it? I make a motion to, accept the balances on hand, collectors, police, and court reports, and pay these bills.
Second.
All those in favor? Bruno?
Richard, do you wanna say anything, or?
Can you?
I don't know. Other than goodbye.
No, I'm gonna hold it for another meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Got a second on that?
Second.
Got a second, all those in favor?